Hello friends, welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're new. My name is Eden and today we're going to be talking about the books that I read in November and December. The reason why I'm putting November and December together is because I did not read a lot throughout November or December, so it would make absolutely no sense to give you what I read in November and it'd be like 2 books, so I thought we'd just pair it all together. So I read 4 books on my Kindle. I read/listened to 1 book and then I read 1 physical book. First on my Kindle I read The Right Move. It was okay. You know, one thing about this book that I loved is their communication. They communicated so well. They communicated like normal people in normal relationships. You know, sometimes when you're reading a book and you're thinking, why in the world are they not communicating well? What's going on? That wasn't this book. It's a part of an interconnected series. I think it's called the Windy City series. Haven't read the first book that came out. This is the second book. Haven't read the third book. The book is about Ryan and Indy. I think her name's Indy. Ryan is a NBA basketball player and Indy is Ryan's sister's best friend. I believe it's fake dating as well, I think. Let me check. Yes, it is fake dating. I knew it. Oh, I knew it. I knew it before I even said I knew it. Okay, that's enough of that. If you know me, you know that I love fake dating. Ryan has just become the captain of his basketball team and he wants his manager to like him because for some unknown reason his manager does not like him. He's just not a very likable guy apparently. So of course Ryan's remedy to make his manager or his coach, whoever it is, like him more, make up a girlfriend. It's just a really smart idea. And then the manager goes, oh my gosh, that's so lovely, let me meet her. And obviously, like all fake dating books that I frequently read, Ryan now needs to find said girlfriend. Enter Indy. She needs a roommate. Of course she does, because why not? So her best friend says, hey, live with my brother. He's got tons of space. And what does she do? She does just that, friends. And as Ryan needs a girlfriend and Indy's kind of just there, he says, hey, Indy, hello, could you possibly pretend to be in love with me? And Indy goes, sure. Pretty much. So that's the book. Did I like it? I thought it was okay. Would I sit here and go, oh my goodness, Lisa, you need to read this book. Sarah, tell all your friends to read this book. No. But what I will say is that the communication in this book was that of adults. Normally in books, there is so much miscommunication. They just don't talk. They don't open their mouth. And they did a lot of that. A lot of opening mouths and a lot of telling each other how they feel like normal adults would normally do. So I really appreciated that. Don't get me wrong, there was a tiny bit of miscommunication here and there, but for the most part, their communication was that of a healthy relationship. The sister, oh my goodness. If you've watched my ranking book trope videos, then you will know that brother's best friend or best friend's brother, I'm a bit iffy about. Because sometimes the brother or the sister in question will act as if their world has ended if and when they find out that their best friend is dating their brother. In this instance, the sister was just brilliant. Again, she was an adult, and that's what I like. I like adults in book who actually act like adults. It's fun. It's so great. And that's what the majority of everyone, obviously apart from the fact that you made up you had a girlfriend, because that's not very adult-like, is it? But other than that, they all acted like adults, and I really appreciate that. One gripe I had with the book was that Ryan was supposed to be this grumpy, really mean guy. That lasted for about 0.2 pages. He goes from, ugh, I hate everyone. I'm so grumpy. I just want to get my basketball career on track and I just care about basketball. Basketball and my sister, that is it. He goes from that to, hey, I love Indy. Indy's great. Oh my gosh, I'm now soft and I'm now really nice. Sir, when did the switch up happen? I need to know. You need to tell me, because what's going on? This man was not grumpy. This man was not mean. Well, okay, maybe for like 6 pages, but apart from that, no. Anybody who tells you this is an enemies to lovers, anybody who tells you this is a grumpy sunshine is lying to your face. I am sorry to say. This is by no means enemies, or I don't think it is marketed as an enemies. I think people are calling it a grumpy sunshine. It's not. It's just a person and a sunshine. Ryan is the person. Indy is the sunshine. If you're looking for a sports, fake dating romance, then I wouldn't say this is terrible. I just wouldn't say this is the best thing I've ever read in my life, which is fair enough. I think it's an average good. I would give it a solid 3.5 stars. Next, I read The Broken Vow and I DNF'd it at about 39%. 49% chapter 16. This book, I couldn't even begin to tell you what this book is about. I don't know. No, yes I do. The Broken Vow is part of an interconnected series and I've actually read 2 of the books in this series already. I've read The Brutal Prince and The Stolen Heir. Didn't like either of them. I'm gonna be so honest with you. But I read the blurb and I heard about this book from somebody else and it sounded amazing. I loved the blurb. It sounded like action and romance put together. And I thought, hey, that's great, let's read it. Friends, I was sorely, sorely, sorely mistaken. Oh my gosh. Whoever told me, read this book, do it. You must not like me very much. Listen, the covers of this whole series are next level. They are beautiful. Together, they look stunning. But the contents inside, we started off so well. Oh, I haven't told you what the book is about. Okay, hold on. The book is about a girl and a boy. Let's call him... Nope, let's actually get their names, hold on. The book is about Rihanna and Raylan. Rihanna is part of a mafia family in New York. It's either New York or Atlanta or Chicago, one of the big American cities. I don't think it's Atlanta. Let's go with New York. She's part of one of the Italian mafia families in New York, and she works at a law firm with her uncle, and she is live, laugh, loving, okay? She is loving her life until one day she figures out that somebody's actually trying to her, and you know, that's not ideal. So her family say, hey, let's hire a bodyguard. Enter Raylan or Rylan, whatever you want to call him. I'm gonna call him Raylan. So Raylan says, hello, Rihanna, I can protect you. Apparently they've met. They met in a book that I haven't read, but you didn't really need to know that because they kind of go over what happened in previous books with them two together. There haven't been a lot of instances where they are actually talking and communicating, so it doesn't actually matter that you haven't read any of the books, because honestly I had no earthly clue what was going on for about 0.5 seconds, and then I read the book and I was like, oh, hello. So he comes to, not babysit, I was gonna say babysit. He comes to protect Rihanna. And the start of this book was great. Friends, the start of this book was amazing. Okay, amazing maybe pushing it a little bit, but it was so promising. Especially, I think the first chapter itself was, I was like, oh my word, this is brilliant. Brilliant. And the first few chapters were good until about the 30% point. So as I stated before, someone's trying to kill Rihanna. You don't know who it is. I had my inklings, and I'm probably correct if I'm actually being honest. The person kind of stared you in the face. I haven't even finished the book and I know who did it. So number one, that was a little bit disappointing because I feel like from the start you knew who the person who was trying to her was, which is kind of boring a little bit. You don't want to guess and be correct that early on. Number two, so obviously someone's trying to her. They try to do it multiple times, you know, because once was enough because she's still alive. Raylan makes the executive decision to leave New York and go to his hometown ranch or something like that. That is where it dipped. That is where it just... After that, I had to leave it alone because there was, number one, nothing happening. Number two, it was boring. Number three, everything that came out of Raylan's mouth made me want to cry. I don't know why that is. It just wasn't okay. I just couldn't read this and go, oh, Raylan, that's so nice. Well done. Look at you. I couldn't do that. Everything about him just kind of made me want to close the book. So that is exactly what I did. Rihanna was fine. She actually wasn't the problem. It was the guy, Raylan. After that, I read another book in another interconnected series that I haven't read. I read Hopeless by Elsie Silver. Now, I've read a couple of books in this series, but I hadn't finished the books that I had read in this series. I don't know why I thought this was going to be any different, but it was. Oh my goodness, friends. I finished it. Hopeless is a small town, fake engagement, fake dating romance. It's also age gap, which we'll get into in a minute. I feel like this is a very popular series, so I won't go into crazy detail, but it's about a girl and a guy. A girl called Bailey and a guy called Bo. Bo is an ex-veteran and he has never been the same since something happened when he was working. That's not the right terminology. Oh my gosh. Bo is an ex-veteran and his family are slightly worried about him. He doesn't see any reason why they should be worried, but they are. Bailey is from the wrong side of the tracks, apparently. She works in a bar. Bo used to know Bailey from when she was a lot younger. Bear in mind, there is an age gap and they keep on bringing it up every 2 seconds. They keep on bringing it up to the point where, you know, I get very uncomfortable. It made me feel very uncomfortable the amount of times he kept on saying, I remember you from when you were a little girl. I actually don't know if he said that. That's how it felt. You know what? I read the whole thing and it wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. There was a lot more lust involved rather than love, and I'm not a big fan of that. I want to see love. I don't want to see, you know, which some of you do, which is great. So if you like that, then read this. But for me, I don't. But you know what? I believed their love story. It was relatively believable, which I like. Bailey, I believe, was about 20 something years old, in her early 20s. And Bo, I think in his late 30s. I think like 38. And Bo was so immature sometimes. And Bailey was the only person who had sense. Really, that's what it felt like. So that was kind of irritating because I don't like it when grown men are acting immature in books. And the much younger counterpart is the mature one. Just doesn't make sense to me. Overall, I'd give it about 3.25. Then we have Fake Empire, which I DNF'd. This book follows Scarlett and Crew from a young age. They kind of already knew that they were going to have to end up marrying each other because their families agreed upon it, really. She's always known that she has to marry him. He's always known that he has to marry her. They've just never really spoken about it or spoken to each other. But now they kind of have to because they're getting married. And they get married. And the wedding seemed nice. However, the girl especially, the girl and the guy, but the girl especially was so annoying. So annoying to the point I had to put down the book because I don't know why. Every time she or he opened their mouth, I wanted to close the book. This was a perfect example of an immature relationship. Perfect example. Perfect example of no communication, not just talking to each other. Perfect example of they would never last. Realistically, if this was real life couple, I would suggest counselling. Every single time I opened this book and I've read it, I just got annoyed. And also it was dragging so very much. I had to put it down. I didn't even get to 50% and it took me like 2 or 3 weeks. Then I did a mix of listen to and read The Cruel Prince. So many people have told me that they love the Cruel Prince series and they really want me to read the Cruel Prince series, so I will try to finish this, but I got to about chapter 7. This is a YA book and I do believe it reads as such, which is absolutely fine. I'm not the target audience and I'm fine with that, but I do believe that it does read quite young. So I would say if you are a young adult and you want to read fantasy, when I say young adult, I would probably say between the ages of maybe 13 to 16, maybe to 17. I would say this is absolutely fine for you, but to me it was just very immature, which is fine. Again, that's absolutely fine because I'm not the target audience. It really did help listening to it on audiobook as well though. Let me know in the comments if you want me to continue reading, because I will if you want me to, but if you don't, then I'm just gonna put this book just kind of away. Lastly, I read Reluctantly Yours. That was probably the only book in the last 2 months that I actually liked. Surprise, surprise, it's another fake dating. But I like this fake dating, it was so fun. The only thing, the big blaring thing that I did not like about this is that these two people were just lusting after each other. Do I think that if this were a real relationship, it would last? I mean, who am I to judge? But no. I don't like reading about I like reading about love. And it was a lot of, so if that's your thing, go for it. But if it's not, and if you're under 18, again, leave it in the corner. Oh, and it's workplace fake dating. The fake dating aspect and the workplace aspect I loved, brilliant. But it kind of got overpowered by how it was, I really hope you understand what I mean when I do this. I think you do. I think we've come to an understanding. That was all of the books that I read in November and December. Hopefully in January I'll have a lot more to show you, and a lot more good ones and finished ones. Please leave your recommendations down below, anything you think I will like, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.